Hello, YouTube. This is Dr. Dave Maslach talking about reciprocity.com, the sharing economy proofreading platform that I'm trying to build. The E is spelled with a 3. So I actually really wanted to talk about why it's so important to grow slow with your business in order to allow it to grow faster in the long run. And what I'm talking about, what I'm going to get into is what I mean by growing slow and making slow decisions, and then why it's so important to actually do this, and then finally what it's going to do to the long-term success of your particular company. So what do I mean by making slow decisions? Is basically whenever you come across a decision, is trying to make sure you're deliberating as much as possible with each decision. Make sure that you are thinking through it and just slowing it down. Whenever you get that gut feeling that there is something out there that is trying to rush you to the market and getting you to the point where you just feel all that kind of tension in your belly, where you're just like, I gotta do this and I gotta get my product out to market, I have to do this, that is going to make you make decisions that are going to be very rushed. And whenever you make rush decision, it affects a few different things. Rush decisions are typically of poor quality. There is a substantial literature on this in the marketing literature about the trade-off that you make whenever you rush a product to market. This rushing of your product to market will sort of force you to make little problems along the way, and these little problems can end up being very large problems with your product or service that you're offering, and they can compound over time. The other thing is that you're probably going to make some very risky decisions. Sometimes when we want to get things to market quicker, so for example, you're a restaurant business and you want to get to market quicker, you might end up getting a very large loan. Often you hear in the startup sector is that people, the way they actually get financing is they get a round of credit cards. To be honest, is a terrible decision with any small business or any startup business to do that. That is so incredibly risky, because what that's doing is you have a small amount of assets, and then that small amount of assets are leveraged, and then if there's a little bit of problem along the way, if there's a little problem along the way and you don't get revenue for a certain amount of time, or there is just some sort of hiccup along the way, and it could be just 1 month your cash flow is below what it should be, and if you're highly leveraged, that could cause a serious issue. It could cause you to at the extreme, cause you to go bankrupt with the company that you have and actually lose your life's savings. It could also make you make really rash decisions, especially if you're cash flow negative for a couple of months in a row, and you know that there's bills coming in and stuff like that you can't pay. It's going to make you make some really terrible decisions. And then that's going to affect the overall quality of the service and product that you're offering. The other thing that you should be thinking about is rushing when you're making human resource decisions, when you're bringing people on board. And this is where you have a business and you start bringing in people. Let's say you try to rush to get something to market and you're like, I should get this person and that person and this person and that person, put it all together. This is your standard startup team. You'll find out with startup teams that most of them actually fall apart. That is totally normal. And the reason why they're totally normal is that they are rushed to get put together. There's rush to get two co-founders together. They're sort of rushed to put everything together. And that often doesn't work. Often that there is sort of role tension with that sort of rushing because people don't know what they're doing. There is also the problem is that you have a limited talent pool. So the talent pool that you have, so talent pool is the people that are out there that you can hire. This talent pool that you have changes. It fluctuates on maybe not on a weekly basis, but it might change on a monthly basis. So you might get 1 month, you might get this really stellar, amazing person that comes by, and you just don't have the resources to bring them on board. But then another month, if you wait, there might be somebody, most of you are just terrible, for example. And actually, you can use this rule. The 80-20 rule, if any of you have heard about it, 80% of the people are they're not going to match your business. Let's just say that. They're not going to be skilled enough to match whatever you have. So you're trying to select on the 20%. You're trying to identify those 20% that are actually going to be go-getters. They're going to be very productive. And that's what you have to focus on the long run, is identifying those. And if you're rushing to get to market or rushing to do something as quick as possible, then you're going to bring more of those people that are going to bring your company down. And once you have those people on board with whatever project that you're working on, it's going to slow you down so much. You're just going to be very frustrated. And the other thing, it's really hard to get rid of somebody like that, because that there's laws, and depending on which state or country you're in, there's various laws and stuff like that that limit you from getting sort of laying off a full-time employee. So what you should be doing with that circumstance is just doing things very slow. So for example, you're a startup and you're a restaurant business, maybe you should start out with a little hot dog stand sort of thing, where it costs you maybe $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, where you can have this little tiny hot dog stand. You can go from different places. Maybe it's a cupcake stand. Maybe it is something related, I don't know. Maybe it is a sushi stand, where it's just something really tiny, and you can grow that, and you get people interested and excited about that business, and you just kind of grow and grow and grow from there until you can open up a restaurant, basically with a history of revenue stream over time. That's going to be pretty low risk at that point. The other thing is, with the human resources, if you just grow slowly and you pick people very slowly, maybe you bring them to do a part-time job. The part-time job is so important, where you can get a feel of what they're doing. Maybe you get them to do some tasks for free. A lot of companies do that, where they get them to do some particular task as a screen, and you do that over a couple of months and take your time with that. Then you get a good idea of, A, what their competency is in the short term, but then if you do it over several months, you can figure out, well, they're pretty reliable. They're going to keep coming in. Because there's a difference between, yes, there's some people that are good sprinters, but there's a lot of people that are not very good marathon runners, that they can't do those two things together for whatever reason. They can't keep it up, and you'll find that the performance falls in the long run. So it's really important to do that. So the reason why you want to grow slow is you're going to make better strategic decisions in the long run. To slow things down, to scale it back, to just try to grow as slow as possible, because then you could focus on making systematic changes and thinking about, well, how can I actually bring in sort of standard operating procedures or different sort of routines, where it becomes sort of systematic over time, and then you can kind of grow by building this sort of these systems in place. You can build it such that it will become easier in the long run, and that's going to help you grow in the long run. It's going to keep your business really light, in the sense that you have very little overhead. And B, you can start thinking about building in these systems, because if you don't think about building in those systems early on, you're going to create a situation where you have a lot of firefighting that happens. And firefighting is decisions that you're sort of quickly putting out, and those ones are going to cause more problems in the long run. Whenever you have a lot of firefighting that happens with decision making, it creates a lot more problems in the long run. So there are tricks to accelerate your growth that I would probably recommend, or that you can do. One of them is hiring very good skilled people, looking for people that have high experience and that sort of fit. That's really hard to find. It's going to take you a lot of time. And these decisions, these individual decisions, they're going to be very slow as it is, but they're going to help you in the long run. So hiring very skilled people, identifying people that you can let them do their thing, and they're going to do their thing without you sort of overseeing. And that's really hard to find those individuals. Remember, think 80-20 rule, right? So 80% of the people out there are going to they're going to suck. They're not going to do very well for your business, and 20% are going to be pretty good, and then there's going to be 5% that are going to be rock stars, and you're trying to find those rock stars that you can just let them do their thing, and they're going to help you grow. The other one is finding business consultants. Those really do help in the long run. There is substantial evidence that business consultants do improve businesses, but again, it's finding the right business. Again, you have this 80-20 rule. 80% of those consultants are going to suck, 20% are going to be pretty good, and then 5% are going to be absolutely amazing. And you have to slow it down and think through which consultants you want, because not every consultant is good. Yeah, you can outsource different tasks and keep your business smaller, and that is that's basically about it as far as growing your business and thinking about how to grow slow. Is constantly thinking about the different systems at play and how you can slow things down and do things kind of just uh, things that will just sort of get you to the level that you need to get to. So for example, I'm doing these YouTube videos. I don't want to invest a lot of time in this because my focus is on doing research. I'm a professor of innovation and strategy, so I don't want to invest a lot of time in this, but I want to generate some revenue and be able to have it sort of cash flow positive, which is not, but at this moment, I'm freely saying that it's not even close to being cash flow positive, but eventually being cash flow positive so I can get somebody else to come on board and find an amazing manager that can help run this particular thing, this reciprocity project, while I can just, provide strategic advice and stuff like that along the way. So that's why I'm doing these YouTube videos, to kind of grow as slow as possible. I don't want to invest a lot of money in this, but provide some help for other people is great on YouTube videos. They're a lot of fun. And actually, if you like this YouTube video, you can do the old one of those things. You can also, if you don't like it, that's fine too. If you want to watch other videos, I do put out stuff about innovation and strategy and business, entrepreneurship, on a regular basis, as well as I put out stuff about, because Reciprocity is a sharing economy proofreading platform, I put out stuff about writing. And I also like to help out graduate students because they're amazing. So if you're interested in doing, either an MBA or PhD, you could watch the videos as well. I do help out with that kind of stuff. So that's all I wanted to say. And for those of you who are already subscribed, you are so cool. You're amazing. Love everything that you're doing. And that's all I have to say. Have a good day and take care. And I'm going to see you on the next video. Bye.